Avasaraya Bhante? Yeah, there's nothing from this end, Bhante, this today.
So that we can go to the book.
Avasaraya Swamin Wahanse, there is no any issues in our side as well. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. සංයුත්ත නිකාය පළමුවන පොත් වහන්සේ සඝාතන වග්ගය අන්න සුත්තං අන්නමේවාභිනන්දන්ති උභයේ දේව මානුසා අතකෝ නාම සෝ යක්ඛෝ යං අන්නං නාබි නන්දතිති යේතං දදන්ති සද්ධාය විප්පසන්නේන චේතසා තමේව අන්නං භජති අස්මින් ලෝකේ පරම්හිච තස්මා විනෙය්‍ය මච්චේරන් දජ්ජා දානං මලාභිභු පුඤ්ඤානි පරලෝකස්මින් පතිට්ඨා හොಂತಿ පානිනන්ති අන්න සූත්‍රය දෙවි දෙව් මිනිස් දෙකොටස වූෝ ආහාරයම පතත් යම් හේයකින් යමෙක් ආහාරය නොපතා නම් හේ කවරනම් යකෙක්ද භගවතු යම් කෙනෙක් පහන් සිතින් සදහැයෙන් ඒ ආහාරය දෙද්ද මෙලොව්හිද පරලොව්හිද ආහාරය ඔහුම සෙවුනේය. එහෙයින් මසුරු මල මැඩලන සුළු ඌයේ මසුරුකම දුරුකොට දන් දෙන්නේය. පින් සත්වයන්ට පරලොව පිහිට වේ.
Asai Swamin Wahanse, the title for this sutta from the translation by Bhikkhu Bodhi is food. Food. They always take delight in food, both devas and human beings. So what sort of spirit could it be that does not delight in food? When they give out of faith with a heart of confidence, food accrues to the giver himself, both in this world and in the next. Therefore, having removed stinginess, the conqueror of the stain should give a gift. Merits are the support for living beings when they arise in the other world. That's the end of the sutta.
That whenever the mother is giving food, giving milk to the child, mother also having some kind of a fulfillment. It's her own child. So by giving, she also take, and the child also, they have only the one milk, mother's breast. So this kind of thing is the starting point of our mammalians. So likewise, whenever the Buddha enlightened, he became the mother. And he started feeding others with milk. So whenever someone is absorbing, the Buddha feel it. So that's very prominent in mindful school. If someone is gathering, if someone is learning about mindfulness, the facilitator, the teacher, is getting kind of a contentment. So that is more than any food, more than any taste. But it is not so common, it's rare. So therefore one has to understand whole world is running fights for food. We call food chain. And the bigger animals eat small animals. Small animals are get crushed in the hard and strong jaws of the bigger animals. So this is the animal world. We call barbarians. We call mammals. Reptilians. So this is the world. But the Buddha is the peak of the human world. He starts with dana. Dana means giving is the just Montessori class of the religious life. And that explains among the greedy world, among the stingy world, giving kind of a sharing, and that is the answer for psychiatric problems. So people think earning and collecting and keeping in the bank will be the security. But the Buddha says, no, sharing and understanding emotional intelligence is the relief. So therefore, appear like contradictory. But any society, any group leader is well aware of this fact. He or she earned this reputation because of the generosity. But they know the subjects, that other general people, they are inacquainted, they are gathering, they are storing and stingy. And that is where the misunderstanding and fightings are starting. So in our world, contemporary world, very, very prominent. So therefore, specifically for the monks, we are utterly depending upon something given. The Buddha says we are like Paradattupajivi Preta. We are ghosts living upon something given. And our Lokamra used to say, it is a strange relationship with we monks and the donors. The donors give us and worship us. So this is something strange. Whenever other things we have transaction, we give, but never worship. But in monkshood, we are beggars, we are getting something and we get worshipped. So these are the special thing we call Dhamma. That is what the teaching of the Buddha. So therefore, even though it appears like contradictory, when you keep on practicing, when you become advanced yogi, the fact becomes very, very obvious. Or so to say, we can say without this obvious fact, the world cannot run. Not only by the IMF, not only by the WHO, not only by the UN, not only by the FAO. No sustainability. All these people are now talking about the sustainable development. That is because that is the way sharing. So this is in Sri Lanka. Of course, we have some kind of a cultural background and examples, but other countries consider them as economically negative features. They are thinking about the economic calculation. So we are also fighting in both sides at one side of our mind is thinking of the economic calculation, gain, fame. The other type, we understand how much people have given us, our teachers, and how much we can give. So this is what the monk's life, this is why the yogic life. That is what I thought of sharing with you all for the moment.
Swamin Wahanse, there are 4 kinds of food according to some sutta. I forget the reference or the order of the list, but I know one kind of food is physical food, the other food is sankharas, and there's a second one, there's a third one, and a fourth one. Can we get a little...
The first one is the chewable, kabalinkara ahara. Second is pasa ahara, the touch.
Contact.
We have different beddings and touch and visual, audio, touch and kind of thing. And mano sanchetana ahara, that is basically about how do you think and how do you react and how do you adjust. That is to say, sankara chetana and vijnana ahara. Vijnana is always separating one thing, me and one not me. So vijnana is ever busy. So these 4, so whenever we are referring to food, our mind goes to the superficial one, the chewable one. Kabalinkara Ahara. But thank you, you have reminded all the other three. So all the whatever the Buddha is referring, related to all the four. And more relevant to Vijnana Ahara. Vijnana is always sectarianism. Sharing is losing its boundaries. We consider his mistake is mine and my treasure is his treasure, and have sharing just like a mother and the own child.
Swaminatha, are you there? We cannot hear.
Can you hear now?
Yes. Yes, hey, my Swaminatha, we can hear you now.
Yeah. So there are some weaknesses in the signal since we are in Patukalia. So we'll try to tolerate it and continue. Any other views? Any other contributions?
Bante, from this side, Vimal Sanayaka raised his hand. I'll allow him to talk.
Asarai Bante, thanks for the opportunity. Actually, the four foods talked about, and I heard and I got advice also to look at Olarika Atta Patilabha, Manome Atti Patilabha, or Rupi Atta Patilabha, and Arupi Atta Patilabha. This food, like chewable food, it is Rupi Atti Patilabha. The contact food is Rupiyatta Patilabha, and the Arupiyatta Patilabha can we refer Mano Sanchetana and Vijnana Ahara sort of thing. There is an interrelationship foods and this Atta Patilabha as well.
There are some vague relationships, but these two dimensions, two criterions are different. Food is something supporting thing. Attapatilabha is your soul. So soul is depending upon food. It's okay. And as you mentioned, as you drew the relationship, there are some relationships, but they are not very prominent. They are not very obvious. As far as the four nutriments are concerned, the best book is written by Venerable Jnanaponika, published in Buddhist Publication Society. And that's a very, very nice book, and it's been translated now into Sinhala also. And he is hardly referring to Olarika Atta Patilabha, Rupi Atta Patilabha, and Manome Atta Patilabha. So there are some kind of relationships. Atta Patilabha, 3 categories, food, 4 categories. So that kind of vague relationships one can draw.
Swaminatha Avasarai, there is no more comments or issue in our side, sir. We can go to the next sutta. That is also a very short one. Shall I continue with that, sir?
No, that of course this one we can dwell upon. That the Buddha says one truth in the world: every living being depend on food. Sabbe satta aharatthitika. And all our problems is because of food. And foods, of course, 4 types according to the Buddhist way. So many people fighting each other, one's flesh become others' food. This we call carnivorous. But after eating, that particular being also becoming a subject to another being. So that is how the food chain is happening. And Ksheerapai, we become mammalians. We started drinking milk at the starting point. So therefore our behavior is somewhat different. So we have come up to a certain evolvement in the evolution, and we can reflect upon. Other animals can't. When the cat see a rat, cannot see that I am instinctively or due to my this thing I jump and eat it. Rat cannot see the rights and the the desire for living of the rat. Its skill is to kill the rat. But human beings, due to this evolution, we have that the social responsibility or emotional responsibility or moral shame and the moral fear. And that is what the whole international organization forgotten. That is what the education already forgotten. Therefore, whatever the educational achievement or economic achievement or social achievement, you may be a beast. You may be a carnivorous. And we can see even in the Olympic Games, they are fighting and killing each other. The idea of the olive is to have a peace. So therefore, this food and peace is, when your food become a dana or donation, it's a symbol of food, peace. But we are killing and others and killing cold-blooded and eating raw flesh, then the opposite of dana, opposite of loving kindness. So therefore, each and every moment we are living, either we are being killed or we are killing others. So that is how carbon trade business is happening. That is how physical work, that's how verbal work, that is how mental work. Only when physical, verbal, mental things stopped, we become innocent. Each and every other moment, we become beasts, reptilian mind. We become animals. Papanchabi rato mago. The Buddha says whenever we are thinking and dreaming and indulging the past and future, we are beasts. Mago means mruga. So therefore we have, each of us has individual responsibility to understand how much we are innocent and how much we are concerned about our own food and the others' food. This is somewhat a responsibility of parents about their children. So we have to consider the whole world as our children. So this is how the Sangika thing came into being. All the monks get equal access to Sangika things, not only food, anything. So therefore it's a vast subject interrelated with each and every thought moment, specifically for the mindful beings. Other people take in that ignorance as the blessing. They ignore everything and just keep on eating. Consumerization or luxury. So that is become today's trend. People do not know how to say enough. They are always gaining, gathering, hiding from others, that kind of thing. So therefore we, each and every thought moment, not only giving food, by being mindful, we develop that kind of a good vibration, and we are giving something, even though the other people can't see it. So therefore, chewable food is a symbolic, but Dhamma dana, or teaching the Dhamma, the reality is the best. So therefore, even the next sutta also the same. So we can dwell upon the present sutta, or we can go into the other sutta. If someone is happy to comment upon, we can take time. Otherwise, we will be going into the next sutta.
Swami Nasa, we are happy to go to the next sutta then.
Oh, okay.
Eka Mula Suttang Devata Eka Mulang Dvira Vattang Timalang Pancha Pattarang Samuddhang Dwa Dasa Vattang Patalang Atari Isiti Devi Ek Mulak Ati Sala Vatum Dekak Ati Mala Tunak Ati Prastara Pasak Ati Avarth Dolasak Ati Agad U Samudrya Maharshi Teme Taraniya Kaleya.
Asai Swaminathan said this sutta is called One Root. One Root. And a Deva says, the seer has crossed over the abyss with its one root, 2 whirlpools, 3 stains, 5 extensions, an ocean with 12 eddies. May I repeat again? It's very short, but it appears, there's a note here, Swaminathan that says, this is a riddle. It's actually a riddle. It's not very easy to understand. May I repeat it one more time?
So we have to depend upon the commentary exegesis. The commentaries are given answers one by one. So therefore, it will not be rather riddle for those who are dwelling in Dhamma and dwelling in mindfulness, or we call Buddhist. For others, these suttas are irrelevant. They are not concerned. So therefore, we can discuss upon and dwell upon them. So we have to see what does it mean by 1, what does it mean by 2, 3, 5, 12, and the whirlpool. So I don't think in the original this thing they are not taking responsibility about giving the answer in the riddle. Is there any clue in the translation?
Yes, Swaminathan said there's a note here that explains what the 1, the 2, the 5, and the 3. It explains what they are.
Yeah. Whenever Jnanananda explains in his series, I can't exactly locate where it is, but he has referred to the sutta and he has given the commentarial exegesis as well as his own interpretation. That is inviting a good discussion. For my understanding, 1 is the ignorance, 2nd is the 2 extremes, 3 is the raga dosa moha, and 5 is the 5 aggregates, and 12 is the 12 stages explained in Paticca and that is in a whirlpool, and she is auguring, drilling deep down. That is what the samsara. So that is how it is given, but without the background under which the Buddha explained this, as well as the commentarial exegesis, very difficult to give a direct answer. There may be other shades of meaning also. So this is totally about the samsara. Understanding this is the Nibbana.
Right, Swaminathan said. And in the notes by Bhikkhu Bodhi, he has a reference to Venerable Jnanananda. I'm a bit shocked to see that Bhikkhu Bodhi is, quoting Venerable Jnanananda. This means I think Bhikkhu Bodhi kind of looked up to him also. Do you think that's the case?
So, yeah, please give the Bhikkhu Bodhi's interpretation.
Right, so the ocean or the abyss is craving. The 1 root is ignorance. The 2 whirlpools are views of eternalism and annihilationism. Craving for existence resolves by way of eternalist view, and craving for extermination by way of annihilation view. The 3 stains talked about here are lust, hatred, and delusion. And the 5 extensions are the 5 chords of sensual pleasure. And the 12 eddies are the 6 internal and external sense bases. That is what Bhikkhu Bodhi refers to these items.
No, it is somewhat similar, but there are some deviation. So therefore, as far as we are learning about them, as far as we are dwelling upon them, still we are in samsara, but at least we know it. But compared to the ignorant people, they consider them as the wealth, consider them as a good thing. But we never learn it and appreciate them. We know they are the roots of suffering. So how much we share this view. More you learn, more you suffer. If you do not know, they are the root of suffering. So therefore, of course, you must learn, but with the correct views. That knowledge is not to get proud about. More you learn, more you must have detachment. Otherwise, you are either falling into the eternalism or nihilism. So therefore, we can learn them. I can learn them, but more and more you learn, you are detached, getting detached from the thing as well as what you learn. But in the education system, that is not being taught. Always you become proud and you become arrogant about what you know. That is why more you educated, more you become unhuman. And that is very, very famous, very obvious in higher education institutes. People are cutthroatism, one-upmanship. So that is what happened for the last 200 years or more due to this obligatory schools, due to this drilling education into children mind. So therefore we have to understand it and we have to learn to detach. This is very difficult. Then you have no motivation to study. Because whatever you learn is you are getting detached. If you have to get a motivation, you have to attach. So this is the wrong thing. It is well understood among the educationists, revolutionary. I got a book, Ivan Illich. He's written Deschooling of the Society. And I thought this is only my personal view, but no. They have created societies and organizations in 1950s in America to tell how to de-school the society. Because the schooling is the obligatory school. Drilling education is a conspiracy. No one can escape. And people think, the government think, if you are not teaching your children, going against the government. You are not asking from children. In Sri Lanka, they have grade 5 exam, so they have no time for play. They have no time for out of school. So these schooling people say, during the school time, what they learn, they hate. But out of the school, children learn by themselves, not taught by parents, not taught by the teachers. Whenever they are not in the school, children know what to do. That is being suppressed. So therefore, we have to understand the society we are living in. Of course, we have studied good. We have studied, but we have to be shameful about what we have learned. That is well explained in the Buddha. He says that it is leading to either eternalism or nihilism. Neither one. You must promote, learn it in order to detach. So then what is the motivation? What is the motivational theory? So it's very difficult to explain in plurality, but you can do it. You can do it yourself, but don't profess it. You have because no one will agree. This is the beauty of this vipassana. That is the beauty of mindfulness. We disclaim, we disavow what we learn. We are not drilling. We are not obligatory to give it to someone. Even if you give, if he is appreciating it, both are in trouble. One has to understand, to learn it and give it up. Or what is 1, what is 2, what is 3, what is 5, what is 12. More you learn, don't be proud. We are full of it. We have to learn it in order to detach. That is what I thought of sharing.
Swaminathan, I think anyone who tries to deschool humanity will fail miserably. Because if that were to happen, ideally, if everyone got deschooled, then everyone would become enlightened and society would collapse and the world would not be able to, so to speak, go round and round. But because people are getting schooled, people are getting indoctrinated, people are not practicing vipassana, then society becomes stronger and the world keeps going round and round. Would you agree with that?
Not completely, because with school or without school, world is rotating, no harm. But African countries, they had so much of knowledge before this formal schooling happened. And in order to bring everyone under one religion, everyone under one syllabus, they killed all the leaders, wizards, telling they are cultic things. But whole full developed world also now going for avatar projects, all cults. So therefore we are rotating again and again. Page of Capra wrote about the third wave. He traced 5, 6, 3 waves like that. One thing peaked into Atlantism, and second thing is we are in the artificial intelligence, and before that also. And in Buddhism, we call in this AEN there are 4 Buddhas. 5th one is to come. So likewise it is happening. At the time people go reduction, at the time people go for holistic or the system. So these are nothing new. Everything is happening again and again. We have to look at from the big picture, big perspectives. So then we are very great. We are very happy. We are learning a muck, something to be thrown away. So that is very difficult. That is what happening in vipassana. That is why when you are doing vipassana, you feel bored. You feel monotonous. You feel dull. So that's a very good sign. You are not happy with that. You are not negative with that. So that is what we have to understand in our day-to-day practice in sitting and be mindful, and walking and be mindful. So that is I don't know whether we can communicate it, but that is the point where I would like to direct this discussion.
Swaminathan, for someone who comes here to the monastery, a lay person, they are not ready to give up everything at home and leave their family or their property, but they do see some sense in going away for some time and practicing vipassana. And eventually they will go back home with this practice and they will apply it at home, and to some extent they will receive some kind of benefit from the practice of vipassana. But in reality, as we have just discussed, when one practices vipassana, then all these delusional ideas that support a society or support a world or support all these institutions like schools and government and religion, when one practices vipassana, these delusions start to break. And therefore, it, like you just said, it becomes boring to live in the world for someone who is practicing vipassana. So for people who come to the monastery temporarily to practice vipassana and then go back home and carry on with this practice, do you think this is a helpful way to do it? Just doing it temporarily? I mean, as renunciates, as monks, we have committed to do this for the rest of our lives because we do believe, or we do know to some extent, that it is possible to completely go all the way to the end. But for this person who has come here just for a short time and they will go back to their family, their job, and apply this vipassana, will they be able to apply it fully so that it helps them, overcome all kinds of sufferings and things like that?
Everyone is following these 3 stages: full-time household, part-time and half-time household, and full-time monastic. So everyone is testing in between. That's why we are very interested with the meditation center. So that interim period is partial practice, not the full commitment. But earlier people send and go to the monastery due to the wish of the parents. That was the tradition. But nowadays, hardly that kind of thing happens. That individuals are taking decision, and if they wish, they can do it temporarily. And in Burma and Thailand, they have temporary monkhood also. Much appreciated. And Sri Lanka, we have about 30,000. And in Burma, 3 million, 4 million monks. Because anytime they can become a monk, anytime they can dissolve. But in Sri Lanka, it is little bit taboo. So therefore, this is the way it happens. How people test in the temporary. So I had about 9-8 years, often going to monasteries and still doing a job, and still I am a son of my mother and the brother and other relatives of the other people, and I had some kind of a seesaw, this thing. So therefore have that, and you also had it. So therefore we can't think that we are not born monks. It is happening, so this is the way gradually it happens. So therefore don't promote just to jump into enlightenment. Just understanding samsara is the enlightenment. So which the one is the best, being a household or part-time or full-time, it depends on your view. It depends on your preparedness. So therefore, gradually your preparedness, your good view will happen, will come into being. We are always progressing. That is why the Zen saying, it says, wherever you may be, you are on the way back home. So we are on the way back home. Okay?
Swamina, we don't have any comments in our side, and
so we can stop the discussion because 9:30. Of course, we had about 40 minutes. There are no comments. I would like to suggest to see the end of the discussion.
Sai Swamina, say, shall I wind up? Shall we share merits?
Yes, please. Yeah.
For all the merits that we have accrued during today's session, we would like to extend them to our teachers, our parents, our relatives, all celestial beings. May they rejoice in our merits. And may all celestial beings protect the Dhamma and the Buddha Sasana for a long time. And may the seeds of Dhamma that we have received grow, producing path, fruition, and Nibbana. I invite everyone to join in the recitation of the traditional Pali verses for the sharing of merits.